You are greeted by the updated start screen, Valheim 1.0 Deepnorth, with a baby seal hiding in the forest. Flying in seems normal so far, nothing different. Once you land, you will notice there isn't a new boss stone. Why is that? We do not know, so we have no idea what we are going to face. However, the big vizier at the center named the Chisel Platform. You can interact with it once you have the right item. Now this is interesting. In the preview, we got a lot of info talking with the devs, and I know you all will love to know. Starting with the inventory problem. Before venturing into the Deepnorth, I addressed the elephant in the room. Anything for the guys for an inventory problem the community been talking about? Is there anything?
Oh yeah.
There's a solution. Okay. All right.
There might be something.
We have. We will be deleting all the items. Preparing. No. But we do have something. I don't know if we want to. Do we want to actually say what it is, or?
Maybe we could like hint about it's the solution, and it will be earlier in the gameplay than Deepnorth.
Yeah.
There you have it, directly from the source. Finally, the nightmare will be over. They try not to give much detail about what they added, but gave some hints as to how to obtain them, or whatever it is.
So there's a solution. Might be you might have to kill some bosses, maybe, or find some stuff in the world. But I would definitely go check out some traders sometime in the future. So what we've tried to focus on, because there's so many things that we want to do, so much things that we want to prioritize and look into. The way that we've gone about looking at the Deepnorth and the 1.0 is how do we get this to be a good base game first. So I think a lot of the solutions that we have are very basic and simple ones to come out of the base game. And then I think like going forward, that's when we can go deep dive on not better solutions, but more interesting ones or separate and alternate solutions to problems like, for example, the inventory, sailing, and so on. So our main priority has always been like, how do we get this to a good 1.0 and not fill it too much to leave some space for the canvas to be painted on after the 1.0.
So the devs' focus for 1.0 is getting the base game done, completing the foundation so that they can build on it as they progress further after 1.0. That is great news. So 1.0 doesn't mean it is the end of the road. It only means that they can expand on it more. So for like the inventory issue, they could expand on whatever system that they have added. The next thing we're going to talk about is achievements. Achievements are confirmed in the update.
Achievements is something we need since we're coming out on PlayStation and you can't release without achievements on PlayStation.
I looked at a couple of them and saw one for surviving 100 days without dying, which is cool, and something to flex about with your friends. There are others, as you can see here, and some hidden ones. I know what I'm going for first. Based on what I've noticed, you can't cheat your way into getting these. The moment you are in like maybe dev commands or debug or acquire items illegally, this will be disabled, giving you a message saying, picked up cheated item, achievement progress is temporarily disabled. I'm so glad that we're getting achievements, and I know that the players are definitely going to enjoy this one. So the next thing that we're going to talk about is the new build menu and search feature.
I just noticed the crafting menu looks very different.
Yes.
Yeah.
New
that.
crafting menu with searchable features.
So, huge quality of life news in the Valheim 1.0 Deepnorth. Search feature added to the build menu along with a new interface. The craft menu looks the same so far. I didn't get the chance to feel that out, seeing we had a limited set of time to preview the content. On the topic of crafting in Deepnorth is different. Remember when the devs teased us the Frost Foundry in January 2026, word from the devs, and in November 2025, the molds for that foundry. Grim gave us more details about that.
Molds and casting is the new way of how you'll be doing your metal work going forward. So there are these molds for every item. Everything needs to be molded. You make these packages, and then you'll have to use a new workstation.
I love the idea of this, and this will make the Deepnorth playthrough feel fresh. Gonna have to wait and see how this fully plays out though. Next thing that we're gonna talk about, the Deepnorth mobs. The enemies we are going to find in the Deepnorth are big, intimidatingly big. First on the list, you got the baby seal and the adult seal that the devs teased before, along with the Elkin that are night
Go
spawns.
for it. Oh, and we've got some Elacking outside.
So these are little thieves, are they? Do they come in to take stuff or just fight you?
They don't
Maybe.
take stuff. I wanted them to take stuff. I wanted them to steal stuff for you, but it would feel a little bit buggy if you're like, where did my sword go? I put that in my chest. Why's my sword gone? And then we're gonna have a lot of like, Valheim stole my sword, and it's just these NPCs making our time more boring.
Hearing that idea, I wish it was a thing, and to add to it, make the Elkin have the ability to use the weapon against us that they would steal. That would be interesting. I see where it could look buggy if they took stuff and despawned with it, but what if whenever they take stuff it shows in their hands, and also they do not despawn until you beat them? That is an idea. Also, not only can you find them at night, they can be found in the Winding Tunnel, which is a new dungeon along with the eyeless one inside. Next, the moose, very tanky animal. If you're wondering if you can tame moose, hear what the dev said.
So are mooses tameable?
Some say they are.
Some say they are.
Say.
I've heard some rumors.
Yeah.
Wow.
Some say they might be rideable.
Now, personally, I have a feeling we can tame them. The next mob on the list is called Barca. This felt like the abomination trauma all over again when you first discover them. You're gonna have to watch out for this one, it seems to blend well in the forest. And then next, the Gamel Troll. The biggest one of them all. This one is my favorite. I will get into why it is a little later and what I inadvertently did. Just a heads up guys from the builders community, don't hate me. I will tell you what that is at the end of the video. Biomes gave a little bit more insight on the Gamel Troll.
The Deepnorth is the place where the trolls wander to die, and before they become rock and stone, brother. And this is one of them. And this is one of them.
You may find regular skeletons and grey dwarfs here, and also this is a nice touch. Although they are not mobs you can fight, but you can see Vikings that once lived here roaming around in the huge Viking village we discovered. Oh, I'm just seeing them. Oh,
Nah, it must
I
be
like this. Is a nice touch.
Conan Exiles.
They have
Ghosts.
coastlines.
But yeah, they're great.
It's a nice touch.
You can't interact with them at all.
They say
No.
stuff sometimes.
Yeah.
So these are the spirits of those who were here, the jailers of the last boss. You will be able to find other spirits as well further down the line. Like the Deepnorth, all in all, it's not like the other biomes. Content-wise, it's much bigger, and also why it's
Oh wow.
taken some time to do this. So there's a lot of things that you're going to have to go through the final trial.
What is this?
Getting to the last boss.
That is a very nice touch they added. Number 2 favorite thing I saw. This was just a few of what we saw. To be honest, I thought it was a lot. But Grim said something that has me wondering.
So compared to like the Mistlands and Ashlands, in regards to like content size, how big is the Deepnorth?
2.5 biomes worth of content.
2.5 biomes worth of content. Let that soak in. No wonder why it took some time. Now for my favorite part, the build pieces.
Whoa, please tell me can I build with this type of
No, sorry, no.
That wasn't even a not yet. No, that wasn't. Yeah, that wasn't no hope there. That was just like no.
Are you wondering how many build pieces we are getting in the Deepnorth? Well, in the previous session, I was able to count 47. This is only what I picked up and discovered and may not be the whole thing. In that count, there is a new lantern that gives a spotlight effect. It is going to be important for the new dungeon. The new wood material you get from the Deepnorth is called timberwood. That unlocks the build pieces in this village we are exploring, and you can see them right here. You can also collect ice to build ice block. Now that is interesting. That wasn't on my radar. I wonder if we would be able to build igloos with it. What do you guys think? I got a chance to see the drawbridge in action. It moves smooth, I like it, but I wanted to know if there were other sizes. So
Curious.
seeing that we're here at the drawbridge, are we gonna get it? Is this the only version drawbridge we're getting?
Yeah,
No bigger ones?
no big ones at the moment.
Good thing is that we got a not yet answer, meaning that it is open for them to add more, but currently their focus is just to get the basic stuff down and the foundation completed so that they can add more to the game later on. Also, want to point out that Sarah is a builder.
Speaking of building, I really have to say, Versaugh, I really like your build videos. I
thanks.
like building much more than anything else in Valheim.
So nice to have someone there to speak for us builders. Any more building pieces in the older biomes? That's we may get excluding like the what you guys have already teased.
I don't think there's any more early game build pieces at the moment, at least. My dream would be to like add to all of the biomes, but there's not enough time.
Sarah gonna be my favorite dev. I will dive into the build pieces further in another video just to break it down to see what we got. Next, we're gonna talk about the World of Valheim. First, we're gonna talk about Deepnorth. Grim told us the thought process behind creating the Deepnorth.
I didn't. So the whole idea with the Deepnorth is I wanted to make a winter wonderland or a Christmas card. That's always been and just go back to the roots of meadows and Black Forest, and just have a very nice cozy feel to it. And I think also after Mistlands or Plains, Mistlands, Ashlands, I wanted people to come here feeling like PTSD, like what's going on? Why is it so nice?
The Valheim world is definitely going to change. We got some new info that was never teased or spoken about. Alternative biomes. This is how the conversation started. What would you say to players that have like a world where their characters like maybe up to like Mistlands or Ashlands? Would you say that they should start over or just continue where they are? What would you recommend?
I think they could keep on going on their old worlds, but I think the best experience would be to start over.
We're also
Not to
kind of
make
divided
perfect.
between having 1.0 being for everyone who didn't want to get in during early access, and then for everyone who actually is in early access with us. The best experience is always going to be starting in a brand new world to be most safe. Even though we are testing extensively, problems might occur. But I would say
there will
like
also be some changes to early gameplay, which you could miss.
Yeah, like systems or locations.
More the environment of the world.
yeah,
Right.
I would say if you make a new world, that would benefit you the most. Should we just talk about that a little bit, maybe?
Maybe we should.
Yeah, because I think a big question from players might be, well, if the focus is on Deepnorth and you haven't added like loads of revamps or loads of new locations, I might as well just carry on from my save. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Sarah, do you want to tell them?
Sure. Yeah. We'll tell you. We've been working on a system that we in-house call alt biomes, which will spice up the biomes a bit.
Oh,
Right. Okay, this is cool.
Have
Alt
some
biome.
variations of the the first instances of the biomes you will be the old style Valheim versions, but as you explore more, you might find variations.
And this-
So is that a change to how the world generates when you start a new world, that kind of thing, or is it some event trigger that does that?
No, this is when you generate it, but it should be
Okay.
applicable to all worlds as well. Maybe, I don't remember if it was.
I think it should be, but we
So-
haven't tried it out enough.
No, exactly. So this is mostly to have some, for example, what can you expect from this? You can expect to have what we can do very easily with the alternative biome system is very easily create alternative biomes. So that means you can have, for example, a beach meadows. You'd find rocky beach meadows. So there would be a lot of or rocky birch. I mean, so a lot of birch trees and so on. Or you could find black forest that is deforested black forest, where it's just lots of tree stumps and stuff like that. Mostly for having just visually changed up the.
Yeah, just the biome sort of choice.
Yeah.
More variety in the biomes themselves type thing.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, and with that said, then it doesn't mean that you will find new items just yet, but
Right. Yeah,
this is just setting us up for the same thing with the Hearth and Home update, setting that up for magic system later down the line with the foods. The alt biome is a way for us to be able to, like, okay, in these biomes, in these alternative meadows biomes, you might be able to find this kind of weapon or this kind of armor or this kind of thing, this kind of furniture, which will make it more unique to replay further down the line. But this is basically setting it all up so that we can be safe about going forward with this in the 1.1 and 1.2 and so on.
Nice.
Blood swamps is something I want to do.
And just to confirm that this is an option that is in the world modifier.
No,
that
this
you
will be
select and-
in the main game.
Core part of the game. So you can't like say I don't want alternative biomes. It's just part of it.
It's part of it.
Oh,
And,
okay.
and did you say it's going to be in 1.0 and expanded on later, or it's not in 1.0?
It is in 1.0, so that's
Okay,
something
okay.
we're also
Yeah.
testing out and making sure that it's working correctly. And we have Eric working on different biome variations for most of the biomes.
Okay.
Yeah,
So that is
I think
definitely
I feel like I'm almost more excited for what you've done to almost add to all the existing biomes to flesh
Yeah.
them out or get that true 1.0 experience. I'm almost excited more for that than the Deep North, believe it or not, which is weird to think about. But yeah, I'm just looking forward to see what you cooked up and all that.
But like we said before, it's mostly about like making the 1.0
Yeah.
a
sure.
very nice starting ground for going forward. So getting like that system in place, getting inventory expanded upon, and see where that can take us, because that's how we kind of like to work. Follow the fun.
I love the sound of this. I'm looking forward to checking this out when the update drops in September. Also, how they going to build on that foundation in the future. The World of Valheim gonna feel more immersive with those changes, and exploration won't feel boring like a case of I see one meadows, I have seen them all kind of thing. We only saw 2 points of interest in the preview. The huge Viking town and this place.
Please tell me. I can-
Inside is a big door closed with gold chains. Why gold chains, I thought? The devs were tight-lipped about it and only wanted to hear what we thought was inside. I sensed danger, but not endgame danger, not like the gate the devs teased here. When I look at the door, it is called the Gate of Merkala or Morkala? Not sure if I'm pronounced it correctly, but it got me wondering, is this another version to Valhalla? What is the story behind this? Another important detail is that just like at spawn, where we have the sacrificial stones, you can't build there. The same thing is happening here. A mythical force stops you, making this place very special. The next stuff that we're gonna talk about are dungeons and mining nodes. We were only shown one dungeon, the Winding Tunnel, although I didn't get to explore to get a clear idea how big it is because my computer froze at the time. But based on how hard it was for the others to find the exit, it is telling me that you can get lost pretty easy. And that is why this lantern was created. The mining nodes for Deepnorth is unique and can't be mined using a pickaxe. Remember this guy? Yes, he is the thing we need to mine. Once they are defeated, they become petrified. You can't break them with a pickaxe, but only using charges, which you can see right here. The recipe for those charges was not made known to us, but yeah, we're gonna figure that out when we get our hands on the update. Once it is destroyed, they drop petrified flesh. One thing to note that once they are petrified, they stay there forever. So that means we can build on them. And I already know what I wanted to build. Next thing that we're gonna talk about, gears, weapons, and tools. The Deepnorth armor and weapons are my top favorite in the game. It screams endgame gear and the devs did an excellent job on them. We have seen 3 armors, the heavy, medium, and light armor set, along with some of the weapons we will be able to make in the Deepnorth.
So, like we've used to do in the last 2, or in Ashlands at least, forward, you will be getting 3 different armor sets, 1 medium, 1 heavy, and 1 mage set. As per usual, this is something we want to try to lean into a bit more in the future across all the biomes. But many biomes don't tend to need it. But there are a few more things in the early game you could find. But yeah, this is the sets that you will be having, and on the wall you can see that we have the blood gold that you will be mining here in Deepnorth.
Gold.
And 2 variants of those weapons. In Ashlands, you had 3 different alternatives of weapons to go into. In Ashland or in Deepnorth, we have 2 of them, which is going to be the Frost Flame and the Thunderblood versions.
They are epic, and the one that stand out to me that I had to grab was the crossbow. I love how it looked on my back. I didn't get to try out all the weapons with the limited time we had. The light armor set helmet was my favorite and was the only armor piece I wore. I was being overloaded, I forgot to try on the rest of the armor pieces. We didn't get to see the new tool, the shovel, to test out its features, but there is some info on another tool that was added but not in the Deepnorth. It took a while until Robin decided to spill the beans.
The biomes, but you have got newer sort of sub-biomes or variants. Is there anything to enhance how maybe the mist can be dispersed in Mistlands? Any changes to
No, that was specifically, Richard does not want us to touch Mistlands
Right.
when it comes to the mist. The mist is handled in a very specific way. However, in the Mistlands, I'll just say it as it is, you'll be able to get a grapple hook in Mistlands to be able to get around much more easier. And you'll be able to use that grapple hook going forward in Mistlands and Ashlands and Deepnorth as well. So getting into that tower where we just were is going to be much easier for you to traverse. Or if you need to get up on your buildings when you're building around, using a grapple hook is going to be fun because it's 2 parts to it. So you grapple to a point and then you're still hooked to that point. So if you would fall off the edge, you would safely rappel down to the bottom.
Nice.
Oh,
And I guess
okay.
you've got blockers for the Ashland forts to stop people using.
No. I dare people to use the grapple hook to get in there before you've sorted stuff out.
Okay, all right.
This is awesome news, and I think I know how it looks when it's being used. Jonathan Smars posted this clip back in March of this year saying, "Had a fun bug while working on Valheim today. Look at how the character is behaving. Now, imagine that position with a grappling hook in his hand, you being pulled up or lowered. And for adding stuff like the grappling hook to the game, Jonathan would be the guy to get it done. This is going to be hella fun to use, whether you are adventuring or building." After talking with the devs, we got some insight as to why the update is taking so long to release. First off, the size of the update. This is not like the other previous biome updates. This was the climax to a story, so everything needed to be fleshed out on the store side. So not only they were working on the biome, but other stuff as well. And some of the release that we got recently is a part of that 1.0 update. The second thing they mentioned that I think majority players didn't even consider or aware of, the game is going to console. And there are different processes to that, which is out of the devs' control with some added wait time. Here, the devs were able to explain.
The early access period of Valheim, as the updates that we've put in is part of the early access for the 1.0. So all the updates that we've gone through so far is also part of the 1.0, what we wanted to have for it.
It was like a lot, you concentrated a lot on the Deep North to sort of get the game complete, I guess. Is that fair?
It's a lot about the Deep North, and it's also about just syncing up between platforms, making sure that everything runs on the Xbox One.
Yeah.
Because that's what was one of our first, platforms that we ported to. So it's been a lot about that, just keeping everything synced up and the amount of content that is in Deep North, but also waiting for certain ports as well. So at this point, people are going through, we're going like a QA rounds of just testing stuff, fixing bugs, making sure that everything works. There's so many, like just the achievement, making sure that achievements work, making sure that they, like in all different cases, just making sure everything is as good as it can be before we drop it. No one's really making new content at this point. We're just making sure everything should be working as it is. The way that everything is set up right now, we are waiting. We're sending stuff for certification platforms. There are so many more rules when it comes to platforms on consoles. Yeah. So that's a huge thing. The wait time, sending stuff in, getting back, reacting to that feedback or reacting to why. Does that make sense? What I'm saying?
Yeah. That's all pretty normal, sort of,
And I can kind of compare this to what Silk Song went through. So one of their big reasons is like they're waiting for all the platforms. They're sending stuff back and forth, making sure that it's working here, like achievements and bugs and fixes and so on. And at some point, you just have to we can't really do anything at this point more than try to fix stuff. And that's basically what we're going through right now.
So they said that everything is completed and the only thing is just testing and optimizing the game so that everyone, whether you are on Xbox, PlayStation, Switch, and PC, you would have a good experience playing the Valheim 1.0 Deep North update. I hope this gives you guys some insight as to why the update took so long. Not only the process they had to go through with console, but the size of the content. The devs mentioned is 2.5 biomes worth of content. And remember, 1.0 is not the end. The devs have mentioned that they have things that they want to add after Valheim 1.0. Okay, now for the thing I inadvertently did.
We're not gonna have these guys raiding our base, right? Right, Grim? We're not gonna get these kind of trolls raiding our base.
Yeah, you just assume so. It's crazy though.
So we don't have any Gamel troll raids.
Yet.
But I think that's a great suggestion, so thank you.
Thank you for that idea.
Wait, hold up. No.
I'm sorry, I tried. If this happens, it's not my fault, so please do not blame me. Thanks to the devs for giving me this wonderful opportunity to talk with them and preview the Valheim 1.0 Deep North update. Thanks to my patrons for their continued support. I wouldn't be able to continue doing videos without their support, and thanks to you all for watching. And remember to always aspire to inspire. Peace.